What's going on, guys, and welcome back to the Edison Club podcast. I'm your host, Mike, joined tonight by two teammates and special friends, Ty Payne from Behind the Dual Disc podcast.
What's up? What's up?
As well as Austin Deckard, aka Enraged Peacock.
Yo, yo.
Here we are again on a Thursday evening, finding ourselves for a little group therapy session. We always look forward to recording the show every week, and this week's topic is something that I don't feel like gets talked about enough. This has been a topic we've had on the table for a while. Shouts to Ty. This was his idea. All the credit goes to him. But this week's topic is all about mental health. So I think that Ty has a lot to say on this. So we're going to let him kind of kick us off here. And without further ado, I'm handing the reins over to you.
Mind if I do? So why I just really want to kick this off is just with y'all know, with like, especially like nowadays, like you said, like our men, like, you know, I feel like men's mental health doesn't really get talked about like a lot. It really just for more often than not really gets tossed to the wayside. Like, you know, it's just not something that's really looked at that much to really be cared about or respected.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I really want to ask you guys, like, what, like, you know, what are ways we can, you know, still like strengthen not just our mental health, but like the, like, you know, stuff, you know, we go, like, I know each of us goes through or has gone through stuff that has not just affected like our minds, but just like gotten to our core, just gotten like hit us just deep in the soul.
Yeah.
And my first question, like, you know, I want to ask, like, what's your, like, what in your life just truly just makes you the happiest, like stuff you just absolutely cherish without fail.
It's a good question.
You want to start off, Mike?
Sure, I can. Things that make me the happiest without fail. If you had asked me this question a few years ago, you'd have gotten just such a different answer. But in my life right now, my family, I love being a dad. I love being a husband more than I ever thought I would, because just a few years ago, I didn't want any of that stuff, man. And we can delve into that later. My mental towards like having kids and getting married was really, really bad. That comes from my parents not having a good marriage, not having a good relationship, and that really rubbed off on me in a bad way. But outside of that, because those are kind of given, right? Like you have to say like your wife and your family, because they're the most important. But outside of that, I've realized the value of friendship, and friendships that aren't just surface level. Ty and I were just talking about the other day. We've tried to have a lot of teams over the years, too many to count, Yu-Gi-Oh teams with people. Yeah. And it was almost always this kind of like elitist attitude where we just wanted good players, and like we were bad. Like we were wanting elite players, and we were terrible.
Each team was just really a Dollar General store version of the other one. It was
exactly
all the same people, just a different. It was all the same people, just a different lens,
just multiple rebrands,
different.
Not the Great Value Club.
We really rebranded ourselves for like really going on what, almost 15 years.
Yeah, nearly 2 decades. We just rebranded ourselves. We just kept on coming back. We're like, no, we're team this, and then like 6 months later, it's like we're back again. There's a new YouTube channel. The last one only had 3 videos. This one has 6, and then 6 months later, here we are again with a new team.
So it's like the Chinese food places, they'll get shut down for like a food infraction, and then they'll like change the name slightly, but it'll be the same like menu and everything.
Yeah, exactly. And this cycle just keeps repeating. So we were talking about what with the Edison Club was done so right, because I mean we're approaching what, like year 5 of this, and
yeah,
it's crazy, honestly, when you just look back at the history of it. But the thing about it is, this is the most that our team has ever been like a family. And it really feels like that because in the past, it was just all about Yu-Gi-Oh. No one had anything in common with each other outside of Yu-Gi-Oh. And some of us still don't have a lot in common outside of Yu-Gi-Oh, but that's not the forefront of the relationships that we have. It really is like being in a family, like a brotherhood kind of thing. Like we help each other any way that we can, talk about things that aren't just Yu-Gi-Oh related. And I think that that's something, it just makes me so happy to have been able to build something like that and pull these people together. And it's just amazing. Like we help each other out in the sense of like, it hasn't been long ago, someone on our team like needed some money. They were just short a paycheck and people on our team were just sending them money to just help them out. Like years ago, no one would have ever done that. We'd have been like, no, you play me for money. You play me for money. And if you win, you can get your groceries for the week. Like everything was just
diabolical,
so extreme, and we were all bad. But we're I'm sorry,
bad and shit chasing.
Yeah, exactly, and we're just like a family.
Loud and wrong is the phrase I've heard.
Exactly, people talk loud when they want to sound smart. But it's great, man. That's what makes me happy outside of my family. Everything like that. Like we've been doing Yu-Gi-Oh nights at my house one night a week, and the past two have actually been. The last one was my Halloween party, and then the next one we're doing is this weekend, and it's Friendsgiving. So just having those gatherings, having that one thing a month to really look forward to see your friends, it's great. It really makes me happy, and it's put me in a really good place. I'm definitely in the best place mentally that I've ever been in my life.
Yeah, I'll tell you something funny about the Friendsgiving thing. So. Well, like right before you posted that you were going to do the Friendsgiving thing, I was literally telling Jordan, I was like, dang, it'd be pretty cool to just do like a Friendsgiving thing, like once a year or something like that.
Yeah,
like got nothing going on for Thanksgiving. We'll just get the whole team together, just do a Friendsgiving.
Yeah,
and then I get home, look at Facebook. Oh, okay.
That was actually Becky's idea too. So shout outs to my wife for that.
Okay. I was literally thinking about it, and then walked through the door and looked at Facebook. I was like, oh, okay.
Great minds think alike.
Yep.
Peacock, what makes you happy? What just makes you the happiest of anything?
Well, it's going to be kind of similar. I mean, obviously, there's my son, which is just. Oh, hold on, my voice is. Are we good?
Yeah, we can still hear you.
Yeah.
Okay, it was dropping out, acting like I was disconnected. So, we'll take it from the top. So my son obviously is the whole reason for me doing everything that I do. I love him more than I could ever imagine, and he makes me like want to be a better person. One of the other things I think that's super important whenever it comes to dealing with anything with mental health is having a hobby or something to focus and something to like put like your attention to. And so obviously for me that's gonna be Yu-Gi-Oh. Like I've been really into One Piece recently and having something that's long and being able to like focus on consistently. But ultimately it's gonna be like you guys said, like the friends. And one of my biggest things that I've been a proponent of is I love seeing my friends win or be happy or have something good happen to them more than I care about it happening to me, if that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you're not a selfish person. You're rooting for everyone.
Yeah.
I see so much joy whenever I see people I care about experience joy, or see like all the milestones with you and your son, or with Ty and his daughter, and just if you guys top or just something random that you guys are like, hey, look, this happened to me today. I'm like, that is awesome, and I'm happy that you're happy. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it definitely does. Yeah, that goes back to that like kind of like family relationship that we all have.
Yeah, and I think that's what's really just not only just brought us closer together as a collective, but it's really helped. I feel like it's really helped strengthen like our gameplay and like just made us better as players as well. Just because where we are closer. We're always talking to one another.
Yeah, we are.
And every day.
I know, and I know, like back in the day, with like teammates we've had in the past, it's like I probably would, Mike, it's probably the same with you. You'd probably like reach out to him like what, once a month or something.
Mm-hmm. I'll tell you what's amazing too is, and I'll actually say who they are because I'm not saying this to offend anybody. I'm actually bragging on them. We have 3 members of our team that are kind of like out of the game. They've been pretty inactive for a while. It's Austin Wood, Austin Butcher, and Blake Bowman. But even still, like if this was one of our old teams that we had, right? Like we would never talk to these people, not necessarily them, but just as an example, if we had people on our team that weren't playing, we wouldn't ever hear from them. We wouldn't talk. And even though they're not really actively grinding and playing, we still hear from them like at least every other day, I would say, like very frequently, like they are in the chat talking, seeing what's going on. And that's amazing.
I just talked to Butcher today.
Talked to him the other day. I talked to Blake the other day, and I'm actually actively in conversation with Wood. So there we go.
Wood is actively using my Crunchyroll account.
Oh, nice.
But I guess
about you, Ty?
Yeah, can't leave yourself out there.
Yeah. So, well, I guess like the one there's a really like 3 different like avenues of things that really make me happy, and like one of them, well, 2 of them, I really grown to like appreciate the older I've gotten. Is it like obviously number 1 is gonna be my family, my friends, like my my wife, my daughter, my brothers, you Boyd, Peacock, like our entire team. Just like I really enjoy the fact that all of y'all have helped get me through like real stressful times and some real dark times. I love every single one of you.
Yeah, we love you, buddy.
For sure, man. Love you guys too.
Um,
There's no romance like a bromance.
Exactly. But like the 2, one of the things I have really grown to learn, as I've gotten older, is just like y'all can correct me if I'm wrong. Is like with us as men, we are more the what's the word I'm looking for? We try to we try to make sure everybody else is good before ourselves, and one thing I have learned I really cherish a lot is just when we all have those days, it's just it just feels like we've got a storm going, mentally, and it just feels like those times where you're it finally just that storm finally fades and it's just the silence.
Yeah,
it's just the chaos of the week as all finally ended. No matter if it's just 5 minutes, 30 seconds, whatever strand of time it is, just having that minute to just wind your mind down.
Yeah,
just that minute, it does such a world of good.
Yeah, I want to comment on something with that as well. Something recently that's really helped my mental health, as well as kind of just helped my family as well. Is obviously we had a baby in April, and my wife was out of work for over 3 months. I got 2 weeks of paternal leave, and the first week was in the hospital with her. Second week was home, and then I went back to work full time after that. So that was tough. I mean, that was
scary too.
That was tough. My wife, for those who don't know, had a C-section, major abdominal surgery. Thankfully, she's very strong. She's the strongest woman I know, and she was able to do a lot of stuff herself, even if there was some of the stuff she shouldn't be doing. But I went back to work full time, and then eventually my wife starts going back to work full time. We start doing daycare, and we just do not like it. Number one, it's very expensive. Even what we were doing, it was cheap. It was $100 a week, which is cheap compared to everywhere else that I've seen. So it was cheap by comparison.
Yeah, it's wildly cheap,
but still expensive. In his first month of going there, he got pneumonia. and his pediatrician was like, yeah, babies can die from that. And I was like, I don't care what I have to do, he's not going to go back. And I basically we sat down and we coordinated a system. I basically told my boss I have to change my work schedule. So I now work Monday through Thursday, 7 a.m. till 6 p.m. So 4 10-hour shifts. And I have every Friday off, every Saturday off, and every Sunday. And my wife works Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. And Monday is the day that my mom watches him. So basically, it got us to where I have 3 days with him. She has 3 days with him. And you don't realize, like, it's a little bit harder, to work 10-hour days when you're used to working 8. But having that extra day off makes it so much worth it. I could not believe how worth it was. Not only, to just have time, with my son, because I don't miss his, a lot of his life now. But you kind of, the way America is structured, you kind of almost have to have a day off in the week, because there's certain things you can't do. There's certain stores you'll never be able to go to because they're Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. There's anything that has to do with any kind of government stuff, like it's 8 to 5 Monday through Friday. So it has helped me a lot, just really have a better work-life balance, and that's been my goal for a while.
And having that work-life balance, as your kids get older, it helps a lot when you're able to have that, just that extra day to be off. And it's because the older they get, the more they get into if they want to get into school activities,
extracurricular stuff. Yeah,
because Luna, she does cheerleading. She's doing cheerleading. She's got a play, and she's got a Thanksgiving craft day thing all next week.
Yeah,
it's all next week. And definitely. And what I one thing, it sucks it's a sucky feeling, because it part of you feels bad because you can't make everything.
Yeah.
Because you still have to be able to maintain bringing home a paycheck, and it's just ultimately the money you make from work is going to be for your kids.
Mm-hmm.
And but it still doesn't help the hurt anymore. It doesn't help it from hurting any less that you have to make sacrifices when it comes to missing stuff for them. It's I had to pick and choose what I could go to next week for her and what I can't and what I cannot. I'm gonna make her Thanksgiving parade thing is gonna be on next Friday. I took that Friday off. I would be, if I missed 3 days, I wouldn't have a check.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. That's something too.
That brings up a good point.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Peacock.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say that brings up something that Ty and I were talking about, because we briefly talked about the government shutdown and all of that, went on a long rant, and there were some people that were basically saying oh, well, if you can't afford food, then you should just work 3 jobs. And I was like, absolutely the fuck not. That's it.
Yeah.
Big advocate for, living in the best country in the world and everything. I shouldn't have to work 3 jobs to just survive, and that person's has been since dealt with. They're unable to comment on anything now, rightfully deserved, but life is for living.
Yeah, exactly. That part. You shouldn't have to work 3 jobs just to pay bills and die.
Yeah, exactly. People always say the boomers, they worked 60 or whatever, 80-hour work weeks. And I'm like, okay, well, they should have been asking themselves the question, why do I have to work 80 hours to survive? You missed all your kids growing up, you missed all of this, and I'm just not doing that. I don't care. I don't care what extremes I have to go to. I'm not going to look back one day and be like, I missed all of my son's childhood. I'm just not doing that. That's not happening.
Yeah, exactly.
My little brother right now, he works. He lives out in California, so the prices of stuff out there are through the roof. It's astronomical. Not to put his business out there, but he pays $3,500 a month for a 1-bedroom.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah. He works Home Depot during the day, works Walmart at night.
Jeez.
And then during the weekends he does Uber.
Yeah. But he's on a grind.
Yeah, he's always sending me like how much he's made during the week and stuff like that. I tell him all the time. I'm just like I'm proud of you. Don't ever get it wrong. I always tell him because he's got two sons. I was like don't don't work all the way through my nephew's lives not spending time with them.
Yeah, because one day
I remember
you'll
That
be
takes
old and
me.
you'll look back and you'll be like, wow, I'm old and I'm still broke and I didn't experience anything with my I didn't experience anything with my kids, which is what is really valuable more than anything.
Mhm.
So I always put that as the forefront. Peacock, go ahead. You've been waiting.
Well, it's actually segued perfectly into what I was wanting to say is, so we've all heard like the term mom guilt, right? Where you know any sort of like a mom, like I see it a lot. People talking about mom guilt, but I don't hear a lot of people talk enough about dad guilt because dad guilt is a real thing. It's basically what we're talking about here, where you're sacrificing different things. Where you're supposed to be the provider and have all these different things, but you can't afford to do all those things because you have to put the roof over the head, the food on the table, and then pay all the bills and keep doing this thing. So there's a bunch of stuff I would love to do more with my son, but it's like, do I take him to Six Flags every Saturday, or do I make sure that he has a place to live? And it's a big thing that I think it's important to realize what we're doing, but also realize, like you said, the importance of the time is having that happy balance between the two.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
The importance of the father, I feel like has been a thing that has really been another thing that's cast to the wayside, and not I'm not gonna say not all, but I'll say about half of the homes, and I'll say around the country. I can't really speak for the world, but just from what I see, and just from people just other different people I know, and just yeah, just seeing other people, just other fathers that I know, just it's like, okay, he's worked he's worked the entire week. He's worked 90 plus hours, and still his family just puts him to the curb, and it's just like, damn. It's just what I I'm trying to piece
I get what
together
you're trying to say.
yeah.
I've seen both sides of that coin, like personally in my life. So like I have actually went through court and stuff to have to deal with having to see my son more. And
Same.
the last relationship I was in, I was with a girl and I was raising her son from 8 months to 3.5 years old. And the biological father, he wanted nothing to do with it. He didn't want to be in the picture, and it really bothered me and made me sick to my stomach because I was spending more time with his biological son than he was. And I'm like, he's getting to a point now before we broke up. I was like, he's getting to a point now where he knows that dad's not coming. I'm like, so he needs to be in an all in or all out kind of thing. So I think the halfway in, picking and choosing kind of thing would be more detrimental to him. And so I've seen where there are people who get punished by the system where it's like, oh, we're going to favor the mom, but it's also rightfully justified in a lot of cases. Like in his situation, like in mine, I didn't think it was the same because I wanted more time. And then you have someone like him who was actively, she would go out of her way to try to give him more time, and he would just blow it off and not want anything to do with it. If that makes sense.
Stuff like that makes me sick. It makes me sick to my core because I remember very 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 vividly. I fought. Me and Luna's mom. We had split up, and I had to fight tooth and nail in court. Spent money I did not have. I didn't have it all. To just make sure I have the rights I have to her now. You know, custody court it gets ugly. It's a it, for in my case it was
It
just
definitely can, yeah.
in my case it was a mudslinging fight
Yeah.
for sure. Like it.
That's how it was with me and my ex-wife at first. But one of the things that I've recently tried to do, put as the major forefront for the longest time, is try to look at as we're both on the same team for my son. And for the last couple of years, we actually have a really good co-parenting, functioning parental relationship where
That's
we
awesome.
understand when one person needs more days or less days and different things. And it took a long time to get to that point, and it took me swallowing a lot of pride and realizing the role I played in my own suffering that caused us to get to this point. which I think would circle back perfectly to like the whole point of mental health is realizing that everyone's going through something, but it's also important for, if you are going through something, to realize that you play a role in your own suffering for either actions you did to get to it. And one of the hardest things you can do as a man is to honestly look yourself in the mirror and realize and accept, like, these are things I've done wrong that allowed me to be in this spot. It's not all my fault, but you are still a portion of this equation. And being able to look at yourself and honestly take the accountability and find ways to actively work on and change those things that caused it to get to this is one of the hardest things that I think people say they do, but people don't really do. Because if you do it, you'll notice your entire life will change, like, for the better. And it's that cliche saying, but, like, hurt people hurt people. So you have to work from within before you can help anyone else. And you can't pour from an empty bowl, kind of thing.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Like, I'm in the same boat. Like me and Luna's mom. Like, we have a very great co-parenting relationship now. It's like it did not.
Awesome, I love that.
It did not. It took some years.
Oh yeah, it takes years. It will definitely take years. Trust me.
Yeah, oof, buddy. But yeah, it took a while to get there, and it was just, and like, I'm very grateful that we're at the co-parenting level that we're at, and like shout out to Jordan. Like, she really like set that up, like, because
And
it
that's
was that point.
incredible.
Yeah, because they went to school together, and like, so they're like, it's funny enough, their birthdays are a day apart, same year.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Luna's mom was born the 1st of December. Jordan was born the 2nd.
Wow. That's crazy.
It is. But like, Jordan was really being like a mediator, because like me and Luna's mom, we really just could not talk to each other without wanting to like rip each other's heads off. Like, we was just always a shout match, always trying to like dig at the other. And we're finally at that point to where we can sit down at the same dinner table, and we can all cut up and laugh together. For a while, like, we were like, at first we was doing like split up birthday parties, and now, like, we do all the birthday parties together. There was it took a lot of time, but it was well worth it. And it was like, going back to like something you said, Peacock, is like, we established that we are on the same team. We're not divided, because the thing about it is like, both of us were like terrified the other was trying to take Luna from the other.
Yep.
And it really wasn't the case. I was fighting, just to, like, be in my daughters. Like, I wasn't trying to I didn't want to be claimed as the the deadbeat dad that don't ever come around and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
Like, y'all know it well, as well as anybody. I do everything for my daughter.
Yeah, definitely.
Exactly.
Yeah. Have you guys ever had like a eureka moment where you connected like two dots in your life, like something that happened when you were younger, how it made you into who you are now?
I have several.
Yeah, I have a couple as well.
I'll let y'all take the reins on that. That's actually a very good question. I'm gonna take the time to think on that.
Let me go over mine really quickly. I have, let's see. Now I feel like I've forgotten. Okay, let me go over the first one. Maybe the second one will come back to me. For all of my life, as long as I can remember, I had this problem about being able to pick sides whenever people would fight. So this is people I know, whatever, but especially like immediate friends. So like, if I had two friends that were fighting with each other over something, I had to take both of their respective sides when I was like with them. So, if I'm with person A, I'm like, oh yeah, person B is such a piece of shit. They're such a bad person. And then I'm with person B, and I'm like, yeah, person A, they're a piece of shit. In reality, I didn't think any of those things, but I felt like I had to agree with, each respective person about the other, rather than, trying to actually help resolve the conflict. And the problem with that, how that started, was I mentioned earlier in this episode, my parents did not have a good marriage, a good relationship. Like there wasn't abuse or anything like that. They were two people that didn't love each other that were together. And whenever I was with my dad, he was always saying bad things about my mom. And whenever I was with my mom, she was always saying bad things about my dad. And, I can't disagree with one of them about the other. So I always had to just take their side and feel some kind of way toward the other one. And one day I just had this eureka moment where I was like, oh my God, that's why I am how I am now. Now I only take someone's side against another person if I really feel like that other person is at fault. If not, then I just call them out. I'm like, no, you're being crazy. You need to resolve this like right now. And that was a breakthrough for me, because that was a thing where I don't know if anybody ever really knew about that kind of thing with me, where I would take other people's sides and stuff. All of it was just empty, like nothingness, but I couldn't bring myself, to disagree with someone about someone else. So when I finally was able to like get over that and figure out the root cause of that, things got so much better, and I was able to help people get out of situations like that so much easier.
Yeah, and I think that like with stuff like that, it really just like it comes with age.
It does.
Like,
That's also a big part of it too, is just growing up. Like we're all in our 30s now. We're all senior citizens. I just got my first Social Security check. So
I think that's just something that it just comes with age and like wisdom and stuff. Like when we're still all like at like still in like high school, or like at like our first year out of high school, we're still all just awkward and weird still.
yeah.
But we're still learning
I mean,
how
I'm
to.
awkward and weird. I know what you're talking about.
Same, honestly.
I am too. But, like we're learning to we're learning how to deal with situations and like confrontation and like things of that nature. And it's just you don't like I feel like there's a point in time in everybody's life and in their mind, like you don't like you want everybody to be your friend, and you want everybody to be pleased. And I remember I learned this like at a young age. I was like, you can't please everybody. Like
No.
Like you do one thing, three it's like the rule of 10. 3 people are gonna be mad about it. 3 people are gonna be glad about it. And there's gonna be 4 that's indifferent.
Yeah.
It's also kind of like harping back on the whole like taking accountability thing. If you look at a situation too, you normally, whenever someone comes to you with a situation, they're only going to tell you side A, and then if you go to the other person, they're going to tell you side B. And side C is usually the real story, which is somewhere in the middle between point A and B, if that makes sense too.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's there's 3 sides to every story. It's their side, your side, and the truth.
Yeah. Let me tell you, I have, we talked very heavily about the the egregious amount of Yu-Gi-Oh teams that we had in the history of us playing Yu-Gi-Oh. I have attempted to resolve so many feuds with people either on the team or with someone else at the shop that could have just been resolved with a 10-minute conversation with stuff that went on for actual years. There are feuds that are still going on because people refuse to talk. I won't call anyone out on it. But me, like from the outside looking in, 30 years old, I'm like, man, like if somebody's got an issue with me, let's talk about it. And if you don't want to talk about it, then we have no issue because I don't want to be your friend anyway. Like
right.
Ty and myself have a friend that we've talked about, that we've been friends with for decades. And I basically figured out that they had some kind of issue with me. I never did figure out what that issue was, but I reached out to try to resolve this issue, and they just left me on red. And I thought, well, maybe they're just busy. Well, then, a month goes by, 6 months go by, and here in like 2 weeks, it'll be a year. I actually just unfriended that person. I was like, okay, like if you obviously have something, against me, or something is wrong. And I'm like reaching out like, hey, like if I did something to offend you or upset you, like I'm willing to work it out. But they weren't. But unfortunately, that's just life. So I just move on. And I haven't missed that person at all. I mean, like I said, my life with the friends that I have, and most of them are lifetime friends that I've known my entire life. Like it's the best that it's ever been. So it's unfortunate when stuff like that happens, but it is just part of it.
Yeah, it's just one of the things. It's just like you got just take it on the chin as you go, and it just is what it is.
Yeah, I want to add one more comment on that before we break from that. That's why I don't like this in real life version of someone versus like this online persona of someone. And it's different
Yeah,
if
I
that
can't stand that either.
if that person is like larger than life, right? Like I guess I'll give an example, like Simo. Like I don't expect to see Simo at a Yugo event and him being like yelling and flipping out of his chair and stuff. But the thing about it is like I've always noticed it more in like a lot of the War League stuff for Edison, where people are kind of like just kind of just assholes to each other. Honestly,
Just ridiculous.
Call people the R word,
Yeah.
call people the N word. Whatever they can type, they'll just call somebody. Hit press enter, and then you see that person in real life, and they're like so nice, and I'm just like, what? I don't like that kind of disconnect, and maybe it's where I've gotten older and wiser. Like I have no room in my life for people's inconsistencies. Like let's just be consistent across the board. Like face value, like it is what it is. Like if this person's a little hard to get along with, but like you can get along with them, that's fine. But like don't be a dick online, but be nice in real life, or the inverse. Like just be consistent. I don't understand why there is all of that disconnect. And maybe some of it's like left up to interpretation. Maybe some of it's just like, oh, we're just talking shit. It's what men do. But I'm just like, damn, dude, like let's either be nice or let's be an asshole. Like pick a team.
Right. Like to quickly spin back to what you were saying about picking sides. I just wanted to give like my little like story of that as well, because I struggled with that as as a kid. My and like like my parents didn't have the really the best marriage either. They really could not well, my mom couldn't really stand my dad. And I understand. Side note, my dad's no longer here. My dad passed away 8 years ago. But I loved my dad. But I also can call it for what it is. My dad loved women.
Yeah,
a lot. And that's I just have to just call it like I see it. Like he really enjoyed having.
He knew what he was about.
Yeah, there's a reason. There's 13. There's 12 other people that look like me.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. I have 9 brothers, and I have 3 sisters.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, that's I understand, because my mom, because even still to this day, my mom still struggles with bad thoughts about my dad and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and I get it. She's a woman scorned, and she I don't she there'll be times she honestly she'll from where me and my dad look so much I think that just at times she'll forget that it's me, and she takes her anger out on me.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's the thing, because it's when he died, she was very I was I was torn up about it.
Yeah.
I would express to her how bad I feel about it. How it was making me feel. And then she would tell me well, I'm still here. I'm just I understand that, but that doesn't change the fact that I still miss my father.
Yeah, and that's obviously it can't be an easy thing to happen to you. How that happened with her, but at the end of the day, your dad is still your dad.
Yeah.
And sometimes I don't know. My dad wasn't perfect either. My dad definitely had his faults, but it doesn't mean that I don't miss him.
Right. It's just one. It's one of those things. It's just it really really sucks because like especially when you lose a parent and you want your other parent to be able to comfort you, but they're still like if they had a bad relationship with that with your other parent, then they're like if they're still scorned about it, it's hard to talk to them about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's something I've actually been very, very adamant about in my own like situation. So like even though I've kind of went over the story of like what's happened with me and my ex-wife, it was very important to me that I never would like publicly shame her like on Facebook or like tell anyone what was happening, because my thing is I don't want my son to ever have to go through that, because my dad was an awful person when I was growing up and I lived with my mom, so I heard all these awful things, which is kind of fine because it was justified. But the point I'm getting at was my relationship with my ex-wife has no bearing on my son's relationship with my ex-wife, and those need to be kept separate. And I want him to love her and see her as the greatest thing in the world like I did with my mom, and then that by doing that, that respect has been reciprocated back, where she doesn't paint me out to be the bad guy when it comes to my son and things like that, where we keep it to where he doesn't get affected by things that are out of his control, because that was a large cause a lot of my anxiety and issues when I was a kid by
Oh, you turned into a robot there for a second.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw it. Is it back now?
You're better.
Yeah. It was going in and out.
And he's
How
gone.
about
I think you might be okay now.
I think you load it back up.
Well, while we wait for him to come back.
Yeah.
Yeah. What he's saying, that takes two people that are really committed, and that sounds very similar to you and your daughter's mom, Ty. Like two people that are really committed for the better benefit of the child and not just necessarily themselves.
Yeah. And like that's the thing we had to really that's the thing we had to really realize. Like we had to like stop like trying like pit each other again, fight against each other for like we were fighting against each other for the same actual cause.
Yeah.
And like the thing I always tell Luna is just like I've told her this since she was probably like 2. Is like it doesn't matter like whose house you live at, who who like
exactly.
who did what who did what to who before you got here. It doesn't matter. Like all that matters is you've got two parents that love you very 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 much.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's awesome. So glad that you guys have that kind of relationship now.
I do like the new term where they call it bonus parenting, or like bonus mom or bonus dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a very optimistic way to look at that. I like that too. I'm always a big advocate for optimism. So
yeah, same. One
well, that's the big thing is you can either like whatever. So we've all been through a bunch of as we, and one of the most important things is you can like you old like you cynical can make you more optimistic that things will get better.
yeah.
you
we lost you a little bit here and there, but we understood the gist of what you were saying.
It sounded like you were Jerry Springer cussing.
It did. It actually really did. Yeah.
But yeah, we were able to understand what you were saying.
Yeah. Yeah. For the most part, we got what you meant. Yeah. It's just so important, to not let your kid hear stuff like that. Like my wife and I are pretty adamant on like we're not going to ever let our son hear us like argue or something. We bicker, like an old married couple because we are, but if we're going to have like an actual fight, like it has to be done like when he goes to bed or he's not in the room, stuff like that. Because my parents fought all the time when I was growing up, and something that bothered me much more than either one of them would realize or even admit was that both of them told me never get married. I heard that from the time that I was old enough to understand what that was, until like just a few years ago. Like my mom always say, like, if you get married, you sign your life away. Like that's all you'll lose everything and stuff like that. So when I finally, met my wife now, it took me a long time to like get over that. Like I don't think that anyone would ever realize just how negatively that affected me.
Yeah, I can, like, from this being my second marriage, like I understand like the hurt side, like where your mom was was coming from, like
Yeah.
it's because once you've been burned once, or like if you were in a relationship with somebody, or tied to somebody that you know in your heart of hearts you really shouldn't be tied to.
Mm-hmm.
Like my first marriage, I tell everybody my first marriage was a mistake.
Yeah.
It was an absolute mistake. Like it like the the amount of trauma I have I have dumped into my wife now is like from what everything that ensued, like that I've let her know. I'll let her know about is just dude. I could write a book, or hell, if I walked into a therapist's office, I'd just walk in with a wheelbarrow full of money and just talk until he tells me to leave.
Like maybe in some ways it was a good thing, because like maybe it kept me cautious enough to like not marry the wrong person. But
Yeah,
when the right person did come around eventually, like it was hard, and she makes fun of me all the time for it, but sometimes I'm just like, man, like if she wasn't who she is, she probably would have gotten fed up and just like left. And then, because like eventually there comes a time where it's like, okay, what are we doing? We've been together for this long. What are we doing? And I'm just like, oh, I don't know. Like, and in the back of your head, it's like, oh, I love this person. I want to be with this person forever. But you always hear your parents' voice. It's like not something that you can unhear and just like turn off. It's like when you were a kid and, like you touch the stove for the first time, you burn your hand. Like you never forget that. You can't just unlearn that. It was the same for me. I had to go to therapy for it to finally work through it. And I look back on it and it was so silly, but it just weighed on me all the time. Like that internal battle of wanting something but being too afraid to try to get it.
right. And
I also have to learn things the hard way myself. Like I have to go through it a couple of times before I finally get the point.
Yeah.
yeah,
Thankfully, I've always been
that's
kind of wise in some ways.
that's how my dad taught me things as a kid. My mom, she would whoop me like I stole something from the fucking government. Like my dad, his way of like disciplining me is just let me find out on my own. It's like
Yeah.
the whole don't touch the stove thing. It's like I would go touch the stove, burn my damn hand, and he would sit back, he like either watching NASCAR or looking at the paper. He'd be like, "What did we learn from that?"
Yeah. That's a very dad way of parenting. I don't know why, but like it's not just your dad. Like that's just a dad way of parenting.
Yeah, it reminds me of this Kevin Hart joke. Is it's like kids do whatever they want when they're with dad, and he was yelling, "Hey, hey! I know you're not in that toilet. Y'all better not be in that toilet." It's like kids do whatever they want when they're with dad.
Yeah, they really do. This has been a good one, man. This has been one that I feel like we've really needed to put out there for a while.
Yeah, I agree. It's been very. We've been able to unpack a lot of things from all three perspectives.
Yeah. Yeah.
One of the last things I wanted to mention was, or I guess ask, I would say, is so whenever you guys are going through something or you're dealing with something really heavy and different things, I got a couple of things I always say, but what do you guys do to cope with it? Like, what have you guys found that you do whenever you have like something life altering like that happens to you? Because everyone's going through stuff all the time. Like, what do you guys personally do whenever you're having one of those things where you feel like you're going to shut down?
I just put on Ocean Man at max volume and drive home and pretend the whole day was just one bad episode.
Okay.
Not actually, but actually sometimes. So one of my, I guess, like abilities that I've developed over the years was my mental health got so bad for a while, and I've told this on this show before, so I'll spare you all the details. But basically, went through a time in my life in like 2022 where felt like I was failing in my relationship because of the I couldn't commit kind of thing. Felt like I was failing at my job because I couldn't do anything right. Felt like I was failing at Yu-Gi-Oh, something I did for 20 years that I was bad at. So I was just stuck in like perpetual spiral mode where everything was just stuck together. Felt like I was just a failure. Yeah, a lot of really bad thoughts I had, stuff like that. Once I kind of put that behind me and kind of started really working on my mental health, it's a lot easier for me, to have like this moment of realization, like, okay, I have a problem. I have to figure out the most level-headed way of approaching this, solving it, and coming out better on the other end. So most of the time, I can kind of like figure it out pretty quickly and calm myself down. Now, every now and again, I have something like our thing lately has been my wife's car has just been shitting the bed every week, and it's been really, really bad. But I think, fingers crossed, we finally got that situation figured out, and that one has weighed on me a lot because I have ADHD, so it's hard for me to just like put something out of my mind. I'm just like focus, fix the problem, eat, sleep, drink, how do I fix this problem? So I've just kind of had to like chill, like, it's going to be okay, we'll work it out. And I'll end this comment by basically saying I've kind of learned if money can fix it, you don't have a problem.
That's fair. What you, Ty?
Well, it, like, to be quite honest, is still something I'm working on because,
and that's a good answer.
It's because the thing with me is just I'm like over these past few years, like I've really just been trying to learn how to deal with deal with trauma, deal with really stressful situations, and like I've gotten I'm trying to one thing I'm really trying to stop myself from saying is like I'm just completely unlucky.
Yeah.
I'm so
Me and you
I'm so
both, dude. We used to say that all the time. I'm so unlucky.
Oh, I did too.
All the time. Sorry to interrupt you. I just had to throw that in there.
I know you're good. But I say it all the time, and just like, and I was breaking this down to Jordan the other night, and I was just because like I was having a bad mental health day, and I was just really just going through it, and I was telling her, I was just like, this is just being, it's gonna sound crazy, but like it's from my perspective, it just been like it felt like ever since my dad had passed away, things that just was just on a downward spiral from there, and I'm just like, and I was just like, damn, like it just seemed like for a while I just could not like everything was just stuck in neutral in life. I just could not get nothing going, and I was still reeling over like his death because like on top of him dying, my wife at the time had cheated on me the day of his funeral.
Yeah, you got hit with a lot all at one time.
Yeah, it's just, and I just couldn't I couldn't deal, and it's just like it just seemed like every time I would try to deal with something, it would just like, oh, I'm just unlucky, and like it made me, I believe in God and everything. You know, it made me question my faith a lot. You know, it like, you know, I just felt like a lot of things were just like a big cosmic joke, and like, you know, I'm still, yeah, I've grown to not think that way. It's like that. It still creeps into my head from time to time, but I try to do better with that, and it's just it, it's still, like I said, it's still stuff I'm still learning to deal with that, like, you know, as we speak.
No one talks
Well,
about the anger part of that as well. People that know me just through online persona, but people that really know me know that I am not an angry person. I'm not a mean person, you know, whatever. When my dad died, I was a very mean person in a lot of ways to people. Just, I always tell people, like, I would have fist fought the devil without a second of hesitation, because I was just so angry all the time. And I credit it to Yu-Gi-Oh! Because if I didn't have Yu-Gi-Oh!, I definitely would have been in jail. There's no way I wouldn't have been, because I was angry. I was angry for years, honestly, up until like whenever my wife and I started really talking about it, is when I feel like I finally started to kind of get over it. Isn't the right word, because you don't really get over it, but kind of just be neutral, I guess. Just learn to be okay with it. So a long time. Learn to live with it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just, it's one of those things, like, you just have to
experience it. You can't,
yeah.
explain it to someone. It's not something you can teach to someone. That is like losing a parent. Like that is something that you cannot like quantify or begin to comprehend until you are unfortunately in that club.
Yeah, and everyone handles it differently. You know, I'm at a point where I'm just okay with it. Like, I know my dad loved me. I know the life that he had. I know his faults. I know the ways that I do want to be like him, the ways I don't. And I'm just okay with that. There's some times where I'll just think about, you know, a funny memory or something and get a little sad for a second, but I just kind of pull myself back together and I'm like, you know, it's okay. You know, my son looks at me the same way I looked at my dad. So,
And that's what I guess my closing thought would be. So with everyone experiences it different. So with me, like, so I had a really really rough like 5 year span for a while where I was just in the darkest place in my life, where my dad died, my mom died, and then my ex-wife left me for my best friend when my son was a month old during COVID. So I was in the darkest, most alone I've ever been. And I went through that alone, like truly alone. And one of the biggest things I do now is try to be the person I needed whenever I needed it the most.
yeah.
And that's one thing I'm so thankful about having you guys around. Do it again?
No, you're good. You're good.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's the thing. This was that was perfect segue into what I was like wanting to say. It's just like with, like, you know, with having your friends, having your brothers, like, you know, you like, that's one thing I don't think, you know, men do enough in life. Is just like, when was the last time you like you hugged your brother and it's like, you know, he's like, hey, it's all right, it's gonna be all right, man. Like, you know, we're like, we see you, we're here for you. You know, I feel like that's not. I feel like that's not been done enough.
Yeah, I agree.
I agree. That's why I'm
And
so
like
adamant about it, and I say it to every chance I get. And I'm so thankful, like I said, to have you guys, and then to have this like podcast as an outlet to let other people hear, like, you're not going through this alone. Like there's other
yeah,
people that have went through stuff, and you know, you don't have. One of the things I was thinking about saying was like, if you guys want to write, you can write into us and like tell us about stuff. Like you don't have to
Yes.
share it on the podcast, but you can send it to us. And my one of my favorite things I've made my mantra is, I can't fix your problems, but I will guarantee you won't gotta suffer them alone. And that's what
yeah,
I needed whenever I needed it, and that's what I want to give to anyone that is going through it. And I've made several lifelong friends from doing this that I've never met in person, but I have met over the internet. We've been able to kind of just work through whatever they were going through and return what I was going through. And it's a really important thing to do from one man to another.
Yeah. And anytime you
yeah.
guys want to write in with questions or whatever, and You can always mention, hey, I'd like to be kept anonymous. And that's something we can absolutely do as well.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So,
Hey, if anybody out there is like struggling with their mental health, and they would love to they would love to write in a letter, please do, like, you know, this is a safe space.
it is. And always remember that you've survived 100% of your worst days, and that the world is a better place with you in it.
Yep.
Yes.
It may be a shitty chapter, but it's going to be a good book as long as you're the main character.
That's exactly right. Yep. And you always have to be the main character in your own story.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, I think that's an excellent way to close. As we mentioned previously, we do accept listener letters and fan mail. It's the Edison Club fan mail at gmail.com. Please write in. We always enjoy reading them on the show. We don't get a lot of them these days, so those are rookie numbers. We got to get those numbers up.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, guys. Well, that's all that we have for you on this one. This is Mike, Ty, and Austin from the Edison Club signing out until the next one.
Hamster Ryko Caius. I go check the pairings, I'm like, don't know who this guy is. Hamster Ryko Caius, Hamster Ryko Caius. 2-0 every round, man, and I ain't even trying. It's just Hamster Ryko Caius, Hamster Ryko Caius, Hamster Ryko Caius.